been waiting for this.
After all these years, we finally got it. Metal Gear Solid Delta is here. For those who don't know, people were kind of clamoring for a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake since like 2016 when Konami decided to drop those MGS3 pachinko machines. Everyone was so hyped up by how high quality the cutscenes were, but we just didn't get anything for years and years and years because Konami kind of gave up on video games. But over the past couple of years, it seems like they're back in the video game business, releasing new Silent Hill games and game collections for stuff like Castlevania, and they even dropped a collection for the first 3 Metal Gear Solid games. That of course brings us to Delta, the remake of Metal Gear Solid 3, which is technically the first game chronologically in the series. I just finished the game. Some quick thoughts. It was great. I've replayed Metal Gear Solid 3 plenty of times, so it's always fun to jump back in. There were some pretty nice quality of life changes. The compass, in particular, was very helpful. I've played that game a lot, so I kind of know it like the back of my hand, but there are certain parts where it gets a little confusing, like the cave, and having something that guides you exactly where you need to go was very helpful. The better controls for CQC was much needed. I think like the controls for the old Metal Gear Solid games are kind of all over the place, especially for like MGS1. It's really rough to actually play those games. Stories are great, but it's a bit antiquated to say the least. And even though Metal Gear Solid 3 plays the best of the older games, it still had some work to be done. So fixing how CQC works and then just overhauling third-person shooting in general was great. Usually when I play these games, I try to go all stealth, but because the shooting mechanics are so much better, I kind of just went balls to the walls with RPGs and assault rifles and stuff like that just to like see how it played. And it was great. It felt similar to how MGS5 feels. Of course, the stuff with the graphics is nice. I would loved how the leaves and the mud would stick to your clothes when you would like go through the grass and stuff like that. And how like each time you got wounded, the scars would stay on your body. I always thought that was sick. But after finishing the game, I had one question in my mind. Where exactly do we go from here? Silent Hill got a Silent Hill 2 remake, and Silent Hill F just dropped, which is being pretty well received so far. But as for Metal Gear Solid, we don't exactly know what we're getting next. At Tokyo Game Show, they announced that Volume 2 of the Metal Gear collection is in the works. I would assume that would have Metal Gear Solid 4, Peace Walker, and then maybe the Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes. Though I could see them just making an entire separate remake for Phantom Pain and Ground Zeroes alone. Because honestly, if they did a remake for Phantom Pain, included Ground Zeroes, and then added the cut content from the game, I would pay $60 for that, maybe even $70. Adding Metal Gear Rising to that would be awesome too, but that's another one I could see them just doing a full-on remake for and charging like $60-$70. So we'll just have to see where exactly our cards lie when it comes to that collection. I assume it'll probably be at least Metal Gear Solid 4 and Peace Walker. Maybe they'll throw in like Acid or something. But other than that, we don't exactly know what the next big project is. It's weird because the first game that they decided to remake was Snake Eater, which yeah is chronologically the first in the series, but it's also like the 4th Metal Gear game released. So like it's weird to decide where they go from here. I mean, a remake of Peace Walker, if they're going chronologically, a remake of Peace Walker sounds awesome because I think that game's kind of underrated, but I seriously doubt that they'd want to do that, because then if they're going to chronological order, then they would just go into a remake of 5 and Ground Zeroes, and I think people would get pretty annoyed pretty fast because those are less beloved games compared to Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2, and frankly 1 and 2 really need the remake treatment pretty bad, especially 1. I don't want something like Twin Snakes where it's all weird and anime, but you know, just a proper remake of like the original game with updated graphics and like actual good controls, maybe even a third person camera. That would be pretty sick. I'd love that. Despite them starting with Snake Eater, I assume that they're just gonna remake 1. It just makes the most sense. I think it's the one that needs it the most and the one that is most people's favorite, or at least a lot of people's favorites. Now, they could go the absolutely cursed route, and they could just make a new Metal Gear game without Kojima, because obviously he's not going to be involved. And that will be bold, but I don't know. It's weird. Konami's kind of on a roll right now. They've made a handful of pretty good games. Silent Hill F is well received. Bluebird did make the Silent Hill 2 remake, and you know, that's under Konami's umbrella. And Delta, while poorly optimized, was well received as well. I mean, people really like playing it. So if they really believe in some other, because it doesn't seem like they're gonna make the games themselves anymore, they're just kind of handing them off to different studios. If they find a studio that they believe in with a story and vision that they think is neat enough, I could see them doing a brand new Metal Gear game. I don't think now is the time. I think you probably want to, I guess, get as much good faith as you can from the Metal Gear fans by releasing consistently good remakes. You know, once you get to like a remake of Metal Gear Solid 2 and that's out and people like that, then maybe I could see them making like an actual new Metal Gear game. I just don't know what that would be. The story is pretty wrapped up. They could just try to do another universe, another Snake, another Metal Gear. If they just take some of the themes of what the series is all about and put it in a new, I guess, more modern thing, that could be interesting. I don't know. I guess that's it. I was mostly just rambling on this one. I was kind of just thinking we don't really seem to have much of a roadmap in terms of what we're doing next with Metal Gear, and Silent Hill seems to be well on its way. Konami has other series that they haven't really done anything with, like Castlevania. I don't know. Konami's in a weird spot right now. People seem to be gaining more faith in them, but also a little bit hesitant. We'll have to see where things go. What do you guys think? Do you think the next remake will be Metal Gear Solid 1 Peace Walker? Would you buy a new Metal Gear game without Kojima in it? Let me know down in the comments. Until next time, sleep tight everybody. I know I will.